Good night. Can I have one just tonight? God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Irma Jill Spears. I'm going to give you a word on tonight, and the title going to be Jacob Arise and Pattern Aram. You know, so we left off yesterday that Jacob dream. Remember, he had this dream about that this ladder came down from heaven all the way down. That God had made promises to him in that dream. God blessed Jacob, and God said, I'm going to bless your offspring. So on. And he said, everyone around you, everyone on earth would be blessed. And Jacob took stones, and he made a vow to God with those stones and put her on top of it, you know. And we also know that his grandfather also had honor, true to God. But today's lesson, Jacob, you remember Jacob also Isaac also told Jacob to go where your mother brother at and find your wife and marry someone there, marry one of Lambert daughters. And he obeyed, and that's just what he done. He was on his journey, so now he finally arrived to his uncle's house, and the first thing he see was Rachel. So this passage gonna come from Genesis chapter 29, verse 1 to 14. Now Jacob continued on his journey. You know, he finally arrived there to his uncle's house, and he landed in this field. He saw this uh, big old large well, with this big mouth that's covering over it, and so he seen the sheep around it, and he wondered why nobody not watering the sheep, and so they say we don't do that until all the sheep come together. Then we remove them out off it and water the sheep, So as they're talking about the sheep, you know, then then he see the well, and then now he sees Jacob. We see Jacob obey his parents. He arrived there, to land, and the first thing he see was a large well. I was telling you, the large well with the large mouth that's covering. So the shepherd would roll the stone away from the well mouth and water the sheep. So Jacob asked the shepherd, uh, my brother, as well, where are you from? So Jacob, he arrived there. He don't know exactly where he going, but he arrived there, and certain people was outside. She asking them, what are we? And so they had told him, we in Haran, so they replied. So then he asked, do you know language? They said, yes, we do. Matter of fact, here go his daughter coming this way now with her father's sheep. So so remember, he running away from Saul, and also there to find a wife, one of Lambert daughters. So now the only time the sheep, all come together, then they remove them out from the large well, and then they water the sheep. So that's why, because Jacob brought it to the attention, is y'all gonna water the sheep? And they were like, no, all of them have to come together before they can remove that large mouth off top of the well. So while he talking with them, the water, he telling them about watering the sheep. Now he landed in these people field and asking them questions about their sheep. So Rachel came with her father's sheep because she was the shepherd. Remember they said only the shepherd removed the mouth off the well. So Jacob saw Rachel, and he went over. He went over and to remove the stone away from the mouth of the well, and water his uncle's sheep. So he watered the sheep. He watered the sheep, and then Jacob kissed Rachel. Now kissing is a way they greet one another. Because see, when Lambert come out to meet him, he gonna do the same thing. He gonna kiss Jacob, and that's how they greet one another. So they began to weep out loud. When he saw Rachel, he saw beauty. He started shouting. He started shouting from the top of his lungs. He saw Rachel. So it like he fell in love with her at first sight. He went there to find a wife, and he found just what he wanted. So he in reality, Rachel, that he is a relative of his father. So he letting her know, I'm a relative of your father. The son of Rebecca. Rebecca and Lamech is brothers and sisters. Now she ran to tell her father what he just said. He can't. So Rachel, he kissed her, but I guess that's the way they greet one another. And down the line, and this did stated that's how they greet one another by a kiss. So now Rachel had told her father Lamech, you know, um, soon as he heard, she told him everything, that someone out there saying he came to us and stuff like that. You got to come in, you got to come quickly and see this person here. So Larry wanted to come out and see who this is. So he hurried to meet him, and he embraced him, and he kissed him also, and brought him to their home. So that's how they greet one another, with a kiss. And he welcomed him so quick to their home. So now we see Lamech kiss Jacob, and this how they greet. So they brought Jacob to their home and welcomed Jacob like family too. When he heard that one of his relatives is out there and looking for him, he hurried up out there to meet him. He welcomed him and welcomed him to their home. Now Jacob had told him all these things. Told him all the things what had happened and why he is there. You remember he stole Esau's blessing. His mama sent him by her brother's house, have him on the run. But at the same time, Isaac had told him, you go there and find your wife. Marry one of them daughters. So he there for two reasons. So after he telling him all that, then Larry said to him, you are my flesh and blood. He loved the idea that Jacob came there. He welcomed him to his home. He telling him, we are flesh and blood. You are my flesh and blood. Now Jacob had fled to Haran, to find a wife. And also he fled from Esau. Remember Esau wanted to kill him from stealing his blessing. So he dealt from two reasons. He fled from Esau. He also dared to find a wife. So the plan was simple. Jacob was supposed to stay there. Stay there in Haran, for a few months, to find a wife. So find a wife. And then return home back to Beersheba. So now that Jacob has God promised, and remember in that dream, he had fell asleep in that dream as he was on his journey trying to get to his uncle's house. And God had blessed him in all kind of ways. So which he previously driven to gain by his own effort. That Jacob is infused with the purpose. He infused with the purpose. God gave him a purpose to do. But he gonna be trapped by Lamech for 7 years, then another 7 years. But he infused and confused with the purpose that God had given him to do. So after days of traveling from Bethel, Jacob finally arrived in Haran. So he arrives there, and he stumbled across the field. That's the first thing when he got to Haran, that's the first thing he saw with that field, was that big old well, with that big old mouth on top of it. So where 3 flocks of sheep lie near a well. And he wondered why nobody not watering the well, the sheep. Why they just sitting there and not being watered with water. So he learned from the shepherd that they won't remove the large stone from the well mouth of the water to flocks until all the sheep have arrived, until they all come together. Remember he asked that question. Why all the sheep is hanging around the well? Why nobody not watering the sheep? It said until all the sheep come together and one of the shepherds, then one of the shepherds will remove the big mouth off of the well and water the sheep. So that's something he had learned, you know. Um, but when Rachel drew near, with her father flocks, Jacob sprang to action, smitten by her beauty, and not only, removed the big stone from the well mouth, but he also planned a kiss. He also planned a kiss on Rachel mouth. So soon Rachel was one of the servants, one of the shepherds. So soon he see her, she removed the mouth off the well to water the sheep. And he wanted to do it. So kissing her on both cheek, a tradition of grief. Now Jacob is welcome into the family. That man waste no time. He ran out. He hurried to go out there to meet. Somebody said they came to me. I want to see. So he hurried and ran out there to see Jacob, and he didn't waste no time. He welcomed Jacob into the family. You my flesh and blood. So Jacob did what his father wanted him to do, and he saw a woman he wanted was Rachel. You know, now he fell in love with her beauty. Now we also see when Laban met Jacob, he also kissed Jacob also. Just like Jacob had kissed his daughter, kissed Rachel. you know. So this package pretty much about when Jacob had the dream. Now Jacob on a journey. He running from Esau. Esau supposed to be killing him. And at the same time, Isaac told him, I need you to go by your mother brother house. I need you to find your wife. Matter of fact, you married one of Laban's daughters. So he on a journey. And while he was on his journey, yesterday we talked about he just laid down on them stones and went to sleep. And in that sleep, he was dreaming that God was talking to him. God had promised him all kind of blessings. So this story just go on and on. He's still on his journey trying to get to his uncle's house. But now he finally arrived at his uncle's house, and the first thing he stumbled on is his field with this big old large mouth over this well. And nobody not watering the sheep. But he learned something that told him until all the sheep come together. And so he asked him, where we at? And so they said, Heron. They say, oh, do y'all know Lamb? And they're like, yes, we know him. You know. So they said, matter of fact, that's his daughter coming up here now with his sheep. And when he saw Rachel, he fell in love, because she was very pretty, and that's the first thing that caught his eye. So he fell in love with Rachel, and he helped her remove the mouth of the well so they can so he get water the sheep. And he also kissed Rachel when she got close to him. That's the way how they agree. So we see that Jacob obeyed his parents, and he went there to do just what they had asked him, instructed him to do. He found the woman that he wanted. He found the one. Soon as she was coming, he was just fall in love with her. He like, I got the woman that I want, and that's the woman I want to marry. And you see how Jacob obeyed his parents. He finally arrived with his with Isaac had told him to go at. And he spotted the woman that he wants to marry. So that's all the stories, all the word I have for you on today. And we still gonna be on a journey with Jacob. Because the next story gonna be Jacob married Lee and Rachel. While Jacob was checking Rachel out, Lee was checking Jacob out. So that gonna be the next story we gonna talk about. So now Jacob arrived at his uncle's house, and his uncle welcomed him with open arms. And the next story gonna be he wants to work to marry, name it Dell. So that's all the word I have for y'all today, and I see y'all on the next video.